Hi everyone, it's Bretta from Forefoot.com. Today I'm going to talk to you about how long it takes a heel strike runner to fully transition to forefoot running, or for a habitual shod runner, so a runner who has worn running shoes for a long standing period of time, to run barefoot or in minimalist running shoes without any problems. And of course, barefoot running / minimalist running most often involves a forefoot strike landing pattern. The obvious answer is there really is no one-size-fits-all time frame to learn forefoot running in full measure, because the duration and the ease of your transition depends on many factors. Obviously, it depends on your fitness level, which includes running experience, the conditioning of your legs, especially the strength of your calves and your ankles, as forefoot running requires strong calves and ankles. So you want to make these areas of the lower leg a solid point of interest for strengthening, but just as uniquely important with respects to how fast you learn forefoot running depends on how well you grasp the mechanical concepts of forefoot running, such as landing softer by bending your knee when your forefoot strikes the ground, which is going to soften your foot-ground interaction, pulling up of the leg to help give you a lighter exchange with you and the ground, as illustrated in pose running. In this view, to make good progress in learning the proper forefoot running mechanics, it's important to draw from other informational resources like pose running and chi running, tips from Barefoot Ted, Barefoot Ken Bob, and even Christopher McDougall to help fill any knowledge gaps you may have about how to fix your heel strike running style. It's also equally important to talk to other experienced barefoot runners about what they did in their training and transition to make a difference to help you take the best route forward. In that spirit, that's why I created my blog, runforefoot.com, and my YouTube channel to provide a wealth of information on barefoot / minimalist running, and of course, forefoot running, to help new forefoot runners struggling with pain or mechanical components, to help fine-tune your mechanics and help make learning forefoot running less overwhelming by providing new guidance based on evidence-based advice. To help in any way I can. From my personal experience, running barefoot really played an active role in helping me learn the precise spot on where to land on my forefoot, which is just under the fifth toe. This really made running more comfortable and easier, and it helped my knee pain as well. Barefoot running was pretty much the all-powerful CEO of helping me learn to avoid heel strike and land on the sweet spot on the forefoot. Not to mention, a lot of evidence supports that safer landing behaviors are elaborated by the heightened sensory awareness that comes with running barefoot. In most cases, barefoot running is responsible for most of the mechanical smartness that is in alignment with running injury-free, because barefoot running allows you to clearly discriminate whether you are landing on your heel first or your forefoot first. Running barefoot is really great for synchronizing mechanical actions that are important to developmental changes that can improve your ability to land with less footstep intensity. And from that, at least at the anecdotal / personal level, I strongly feel that learning efficient forefoot running mechanics in full measure is incomplete if you don't run barefoot, if you don't integrate barefoot running or dedicate some time to running barefoot, for the reason that cushion running shoes are really ill-serving because sensory input is blurred or more foggy, which may cause you to misuse your forefoot strike without knowing it. When you run in these types of shoes, learning forefoot running correctly, which I always like to say is a sensory-driven process, can be made more complicated in cushioned running shoes, because for some runners, the underfoot cushioning makes it a little difficult for your perceptual awareness to really make sense of your precise footsteps and forefoot strike accuracy. As a consequence of poor ground feel, when you run in thickly cushioned running shoes, you might be trapped in an endless cycle of running with an inconsistent foot strike pattern, where half your run you land four-footed and the other half of your run you land on your heel first without fully knowing it. It is because the underheel cushioning in most traditional running shoes makes the heel strike impact feel comfortable, but doesn't fully reduce the heel strike impact. That is why the narrative less is more is in a forefoot running learner's best interest, in my opinion anyway. But probably the most valuable concrete learning strategy is to fundamentally realize that learning anything new is a process that takes time, which is a concept a lot of runners have a hard time accepting, because most runners want to get faster now. They want to see results now. Most runners are highly result oriented, which is great, but patience is golden when learning a new running condition such as forefoot running. My strongest advice is to stay on the forefoot running course, because as long as you land with a forefoot strike when you run, you are certainly starting on the path forward, running more injury-free with greater sustainable mechanical efficiency as compared to if you remained a heel strike runner. Always remember, there's a fundamental reason the best distance runners in the world, like Ternish Tababa, Paula Radcliffe, Galen Rupp, Mo Farah, Molly Huddle, Dathan Ritzenheim, Haley Gebrselassie, Tiki Jelena, and Nikip Lagat, Bernard Lagat, to name a few, are all non-heel strike runners and are among the best runners in the world. And these distance runners really model and represent the success of what could happen to your running performance if you don't heel strike. So see the way these runners run, because it's very encouraging as they set a real example of what forefoot running should look like. The most important dialogue is that forefoot running really puts you on a stronger path to build on good running progress. Ultimately, I wish there was a magic answer to learn forefoot running as fast as possible without complications to avoid a challenging road ahead. But like anything else, forefoot running does take time, and it will take time. It's a learning process which you can't do shortcuts for, but it's a process that is in a runner's best interest if you want to run without injury and to see big performance gains, because heel strike running has been the scene for so many injuries. When it comes to learning forefoot running, patience is certainly a virtue. You cannot shortcut it, but being patient pays off. The more patience you have, the faster your transition time will go, because you will be in a better position to avoid injury when you're patient and avoid falling into the too much too soon trap. So that's the most common sense, practical approach, is to always bear in mind that patience is really the opportunity to progress without continuing injurious problems. In my upcoming videos, I will discuss some of the common areas of soreness related to learning forefoot running, same with barefoot running and minimalist running, and how and why certain forms of muscle pain is, in a sense, a necessary reaction or a normal adaptive response to learning forefoot running. For more information on how to run forefoot and why not to heel strike when you run, please visit my blog, runforefoot.com, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel to stay updated on all the latest research regarding the biomechanics of running. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Have fun out there on the roads. Bye for now.